Creativity Cave. I'm Dina Rico, and I am super excited to see you. I hope that you had a great weekend. I had a busy, busy weekend. It's been a little crazy around here this past week. And by a little crazy, I mean totally crazy. Let me get my Stampin' Lips on and I will tell you all about it. So, first off, last week was watercolor week. I hope that you had the opportunity to join in the fun. We had such a fabulous, fabulous week. Ooh, there's like something in this lip gloss. I can feel it. My lips, they're tingly. We had, like I said, just a phenomenal week full of all kinds of inspiration and fabulous, fabulous watercoloring, relaxation, fun techniques. It was just a really fun week. If you did not have a chance to join in the fun, the videos will be available through the end of this month, which is Thursday, because Friday is August, which I can't even believe. So make sure you take a look at those videos. If you would like access to them longer, you can get the Watercolor Week PDF, or you can join my Paint with Dina, and all of the information will be posted there. We're going to do a little more watercoloring today because we just need to, I think. The PDF for both watercolor, well, I'm hoping the PDF for Watercolor Week will go out today. I also will for sure have the PDF for the Pretty Perennials going out today. If you have emailed me since about Friday, I doubt I have answered you. So I will try and catch up with that hopefully by the end of the day tomorrow. I'm a little backed up on emails. I have just so much has been going on here, and let me back up and tell you, I planned Watercolor Week, thinking that we would have our boxes done before Watercolor Week even started, and then during Watercolor Week, I would be doing like my other normal workload of things that I do. And Watercolor Week kind of went over really well. And so we ended up with a lot more demand for our little Watercolor Week kits. So I offered more, and then I offered more, and then I offered a few more, and then I offered one final round of more boxes. So I did 4 rounds of boxes, and they all sold out. And so we've been shipping Watercolor Week boxes for over a week now, like pretty much every day. And we are not caught up, but we're getting there. And all of this has been happening without my main assistant, because she is off for the summer. So Lee and I have been working really hard. She normally works 2 days a week, and she worked every single day last week. And she's going to work a little extra this week as well. And then I'm going on vacation and nobody's working. So that is a good thing. And then on top of that, I've had just this crazy thing. I have a Facebook group for Watercolor Week. Facebook is doing something, I think it's an AI generated thing, and it is like inviting, right now there's currently like 1,300 people, it's like 1,276 people have been invited to this Facebook group. And Facebook is doing it. I am not, but it says I am inviting them. I have no idea how it happened. It started like a week ago, and every day, and everybody's getting invited like 5 times. And like today, my like junior high, I don't want to say boyfriend, but guy I like went out with in junior high was on the invite list. My husband has been invited. My son has been invited. My relatives have been invited. My husband's like boss from 15 years ago was invited. And I cannot stop it. I think I'm going to have to shut the group down and maybe just start another one. I don't know, but I literally have spent an hour every single day this week just deleting these invites. And I'm super worried that I'm going to get put in Facebook jail, which at this point, fine, just fine. Throw away the key. So that's been kind of a stress. And then on top of that, my mother. Oh my gosh. I won't even get into it because I will start crying. But that's been another thing going on in the background. And so that's just been a lot to deal with. So anyway, there's been a lot happening behind the scenes. So if I'm super sorry if I've been short with anybody in my emails. It's literally, I'm just trying to get through them. And it's just been so many things going on that are just, if you know what I mean. So we are going to have some fun here today. We are going to make some fabulous cards. I'm actually kind of loving what I have for you today. I'm kind of incorporating a little bit of our watercolor week stuff into the projects we're going to do today, just because I think it's going to be really fun. I also pre-embossed a couple of things just to make things go a little more smoothly. And I hope that helps. Yeah, I don't know why I think if the Facebook thing wasn't happening, that would really help, because every day I'm literally like uninviting all these people, and all kinds of people are in the group that I don't think are really necessarily supposed to be in the group. And I just, if I recognize their name as a stamper, I'm just like, whatever. But if it's like a high school boyfriend or a college person, I'm trying to delete those people because they're probably like, what? Like, just really weird. So let's see. Mary said, I've seen one of your watercolor lessons. I was kind of wondering why I did. Well, they're open to the public. They're open to the public for anybody who wants to. So that's why you've seen them. It's not special. But I set up a Facebook group just for the people who are registered. And that is what Facebook is like, just auto-generating invitations to. And when I was doing it today, you guys, like, every person on the list has like 5 invitations for me. So it probably looks like I'm totally spamming all these people. And Carl's like, at Carl every day, Carl's like, yep, got invited again. I have not invited anybody to the group. Like, I think I've invited one person, and that's because she was having trouble getting into it. Other than that, I have not invited a single person. I've given you a link to the group, but I've not actually physically invited anybody. So I don't know how or what is causing this, but every day there's more. And every day I just want to like cry. So yeah. Anyway. But on the positive side, the good news is that we watercolored all week, and that's always a good thing. We made some, if I can just say, glorious projects, and did such wonderful things. I don't even know sometimes how I come up with some of this stuff. But when you just like mess around, it's lovely. Now, the funny thing is like normally every day at the end of the day, I watercolor a little bit before, you know, in the evenings after I'm done with work. And I have not been doing this because I was like watercoloring live for a couple of hours. Like the lives were kind of long, but they were so good. I think we had a good time. So if it weren't for the topic, I think I probably would have lost my mind. But at any rate, it was a lovely, lovely week. We just have been really, really busy. So, and then my husband is out of town, and well, he was out of town, and I had a tech question. So I needed some help with that. But luckily, I did get help. My daughter, bless her ever loving heart. And then also, and Wendy just said this, it is hot. And when I say hot, I think I said it was hot last week. Yeah, I think it's hotter this week. And I realize I'm saying that with like a sweatshirt. First of all, this is a really lightweight sweatshirt. It's cold in my basement, which is lovely because the air comes on in the afternoon. So like, you know how you set your thermostat for like um when you're gone during the day. I'm in the basement during the day, so it's not on. It's cool down here, which is great. But now that the air is on, it's even colder. So I have the sweatshirt on. And I'm not complaining about my cool basement. That's lovely. But it is really hot out. Like really hot. My husband and I took the dogs for a walk yesterday, and we were like dripping wet by the time we got home. Um, and we went, well, probably for like 40-minute walk. It was so stinking hot. And I think it's, you know how they always say, oh, it's a dry heat? No, it's a wet heat. It is so, so, so humid. And it also like rained. It's rained quite a bit the last few days. And um, so it's like you can cut through the air with a spoon or a bowl or something, which is just kind of, I mean, that's what how it is this time of year, but so this is really awesome though. It's going to cool down as soon as we leave to go on vacation. So my husband can enjoy the cool weather while Carl and I are gone. So I am really excited about this. Carl and I are going to Portland, which is going to be great. And we are there specifically to watch the US track and field championships. So these are like the Olympian level of runner. The US, like the best in the US, it's the US championships for 2025. And it's in Eugene, Oregon. And so these are like a lot of the Olympians you saw in Paris last year will be there from the US. So that's going to be really fun. I'm We're going to just 2 days because I think it's like 5 or 6 days. So we're just going to go to 2 days. And obviously, this is Carl's thing. He's really excited about going. I am really looking forward to seeing the ocean and seeing like Mount Hood and the gorge and the big waterfall. I think that's going to be really fun. And I also am looking forward to just getting away a little bit. And I don't believe it's going to be super hot there. So that's going to be really nice. I said to Carl, I go pack layers because at night I think it's going to be pretty cool, especially when we go to the ocean. And he's like, yeah, I'm super excited. So I think he's going to run on the ocean one day and well, he's going to run all over. So it'll be interesting. All right. Ooh, Wendy said they're going to get bad storms. I think there are a bunch of storms. We had storms this morning. I need to pull up my live anyway here. We had storms this morning that came through, nothing like bad, but I just heard it. Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to it. I don't know if I've been to Oregon. It was just like we dipped in from Washington State. When we went was it last time? We we've been on a couple of Alaska cruises, and I don't think it was the last one, but the one before that, we stayed a few extra days in Seattle. And was it last time? I can't remember. I can't remember if it was the trip where my house was sold while we were gone by my team member, or if it was the time before that. But anyway, we spent a couple extra days and drove down to like Astoria, which I think Astoria is like on the border. So we might have dipped into Oregon, but I can't remember. Anyway, so I'm excited. It will be my first time. I've been getting all kinds of things that we need to do. So I'm excited to cross some of those, the big waterfalls. How do you say that? Multnomah? I don't think that's right. Or is it Multnomah Falls? Anyway, it's the one, okay, so this is really cheesy. In the movie, and please don't hate me, Twilight, those falls are in one of those Twilight movies. And I was kind of excited that we could see them because I remember thinking they were pretty in the movie. Yes, I used to like Twilight. I kind of feel bad about that now, but and then my the gorge thing I think is in the same area as the falls. I'm not sure. I don't know. Is that like a 1-day thing or is that more than 1 day? And I know you can see Mount Hood. I'm hoping Carl's not going to want me to like climb Mount Hood because I'm sure he'll be like, yeah, we should totally do that. I have a feeling he's going to want to do things a little bit more aggressive than me. We'll see. Okay, that's a 1-day thing. Thank you. We're kind of staying in the middle of all the different things, not in Portland. I did not want to stay in Portland. So, yeah. Oh my gosh, Wendy said she rewatched it a few months ago. You know, I think at the time I was so into all of it. I just thought it was so, I read all the books and I loved the movies, and now I look back and I think, oh boy. So anyway, yeah. All right. So that's what's been going on here. We had well, actually Carl ran a race on Saturday morning. It was pouring rain, which was kind of wild, and I think he did okay. I think he's just never happy, you know what I mean? I think he did pretty good, but he wasn't thrilled. And the weather was great though, because it was supposed to be super duper hot, but instead it rained and it was a lot cooler. But he said it was kind of tough because like stuff was getting kicked up in his face the whole time, you know, like because there were so many puddles and things. So I think it was kind of sloshy, but I think it was better. He always likes running in the rain though, because it's just kind of fun and different. But it was a 7-mile race, and I think maybe a couple miles in the rain is much more fun than a lot of miles in the rain. Anyway, he had to run, let's see, he had to run Sunday 10 miles, and he was like dying. Whenever you have a race like the next day, you usually do not feel super great, and he definitely did not feel super great on Monday or Sunday, and I don't think he felt great this morning either because it was real hot. But anyway, all right. I think it's time to flip my camera and talk about a few things that are going on. Okay, so I'm gonna flip this around. Okay. So first and foremost, we have some fun stuff coming up. So I've got my visuals. Okay, so just as a reminder, videos for Watercolor Week will be up through the 31st. If you would like to see them beyond the 31st, and I think they're pretty amazing, you can purchase the PDF. I'm going to write this. Oops. Oh, videos available through July 31st. So just a couple more days to watch them. But if you'd like to be able to rewatch them over and over again, please consider purchasing the PDF. I am putting all kinds of extra stuff in the PDF, which is why I don't have it done yet. But I think it will be very much well worth your investment. And we're going to have just, you're going to really love having it. You can also get it by joining Paint with Dina. This is a website I have where I post new video tutorials each month. And if you would like to join, it's pretty awesome. You can continue your watercolor journey with me. And we have kind of bite-sized lessons that are posted each month. Also coming out this week, I have the Charming Day online class, and we are going to make a fabulous project featuring this collection of goodies in just a few moments. So hold on for that. And then tomorrow I have my Stamp Happy Academy Live. Is happening tomorrow evening, and we're going to make some really fun projects. I was actually working on that a little bit today. We also have our monthly bingo coming up just a little less than a month from now on the 20th of August. And we are going to be making some really wonderful projects featuring the Perfectly Pairs bundle and the Label Me Grateful bundle. So I'm really looking forward to that one. And let's see, anything else? Oh, also, when you order from me, if you'd like to order any of the items that I show today, I would be so grateful for your business. It helps me continue to bring awesome videos just like this to you each week. If you spend $20 or more, you get 10% back in Stampin Rewards from Stampin Up. If you spend $35 or more, you get invited to my Stamp Happy Party that I do with my besties, Barb and Kelly, each month. It's a live video where we create a really cool project, and then you get a PDF to go with it. And you can also get in on that if you join Stamp Happy Academy, which is our subscription website. And then if you spend $50 or more, you will get the All-Star Video Class bundle for this month, which is Florals in Bloom. And these projects are just amazing. I really love this collection of products. And if you've been waiting on the dies, they are going to be back in stock this week, allegedly. I shouldn't say allegedly, but they're scheduled to come back into stock this week. So hopefully, fingers crossed, they will be. Okay, so as I mentioned, I'm going to do a card with the Charming Day bundle. This is a really gorgeous bundle. And we made a really pretty card with it during my watercolor week with a cool background. And we're going to make another card today with a little watercoloring. Now, much of the watercoloring I did during watercolor week was with watercolors from my paint palette, and I am going to use instead our ink pads for today's coloring. So I've got a Night of Navy card base. Now I took some of this designer series paper. Look at how pretty this paper is. And I'm using this side of it, and I'm just going to attach that to a little panel of Night of Navy. And I believe my DSP is 3 3/4 by 5, and then my cardstock is 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. And so I'm just going to layer those two up, and then we'll attach in a minute. Excuse me. But I, ahead of time, stamped and heat embossed 2 of these beautiful pieces from our stamp set in copper, because I thought that would be fun. Copper powder is in our metallics embossing powders. And so I thought we would color these in. So I'm going to do Night of Navy, an Old Olive on my flowers here, and also a little Berry Burst, because I think, you know, it just to mix things up a little bit. Now, in the paper, there's not Old Olive, but I like the Old Olive with these colors. To do my watercoloring with this, I like to pick up the ink from the lid of my ink pads. I just find that to be the easiest way to do it. Now, if you don't have the hand strength to squeeze your ink pad lid to the pad to the lid, you can really pick up the color pretty easily by just stamping a block onto the pad and then picking it up that way. You want your block to be mostly clean. Now, we never judge, so if it's not totally clean, that's okay. No judgment. All right, let me grab my water. It's just behind me. Ha, kidding. It was in the bathroom. Okay, so I've got my water, and whenever I watercolor, I always love having some paper towel or a towel next to me to help clean off my brush. And so I'm going to start with my paintbrush, and I'm just gonna color this in. Now, because our card is Night of Navy, that's gonna kind of be my main color here, and I'm just gonna, let's see, I'm just gonna kind of put a light layer of Night of Navy down. Okay, so this is my ink pad. And then where I want there to be darker Night of Navy, I'm going to pick up darker Night of Navy, and I'm just going to kind of drop it in. And you can see it starts to blend out and bleed a little bit. So look at how pretty that is. I love the magic of watercolor when you do this. And the embossing kind of keeps the sections separate, which is kind of fun. So there we go. And it will just kind of feather out as long as that paint is, or ink is wet. And look at how pretty. So gorgeous. Okay, so I'm just kind of blending and bleeding a little bit. Now, the interesting thing, and I don't think I mentioned this during Watercolor Week, sometimes people ask me why I like paint versus ink pads. And one of the reasons is our ink is not made of just one color. And what I mean by that is Night of Navy is the Stampin' Up concoction to create this color. It's made up of several different colors of dye pigments, and as a result, when you paint with it, it can separate. Another thing that happens that I don't love about it is that it can really stain your paper, which probably doesn't sound like any big deal, but it can be. But look at that, so pretty. I love how dark it is. Have I ever watercolored, painted in the car? No, I have not. I generally get kind of car sick. I usually don't even read in the car that much. I knit in the car, but I've never painted in the car. I'm not really sure how that would work. I'm sure you could make it work, but I have never done that. I have painted on a plane though, but that is definitely different than a car. I don't get plane sick unless there's like really bad, I don't think I've really ever gotten plane sick. The only thing that makes me crazy in a plane is if it's really hot and I can't see the window, like if I'm in an aisle seat and I can't see outside, sometimes that bugs me, but it's only when it's really hot. Okay, so now I did the second one in Berry Burst, and I just love having the contrast. I was also going to mention I added some more color here because one of the colors that makes up this navy is actually some short form of red or pink. And so I can see it in here. So that's why I added some more to it. It's interesting. Okay, and then I think this is really going to be amazing when we add in our old olive. So let's do that. So I'm gonna, well, I think I like the blending. So I'm just gonna cover the whole thing with this is old olive. And then we'll add, so kind of watery old olive, and then we'll add some darker areas as we go. So I'm just going to color all these. The other reason I love embossing is it, like I said, it kind of gives each little section that you're painting like a compartment. And it generally, watercolor will not go outside of that compartment that's embossed. Okay, so as you can see, I'm adding some darker areas along the vein of each of these leaves. And I think that looks so pretty. Okay. All right. There we go. Oh, so gorgeous. Now, just like Night of Navy, our old olive also has, it's made up of different colors. And again, I don't know the chemistry of all this, but it is, I mean, at the end of the day, ink is like a chemical, you know, component, and it is made up of multiple colors. And so when you watercolor with them, they can kind of separate out, and sometimes that's good and sometimes that's not so good. So anyway, there we go. That looks lovely. Now I also have this single flower. This is actually going to be for the inside of our card, but let's quick color that up. I'm going to start again with just putting a little water down and a little bit of color, and then we'll add some darker color to it. It's also really interesting, some colors, and actually Coastal Cabana is one of these colors. It has like a weird quality to it. I don't know what it is. And it's kind of crazy. Is this watercolor paper? If you see me watercoloring, it is 100% going to be on watercolor paper. Yes, absolutely. None of this is possible on cardstock, guaranteed. Will not happen, not possible. If you see me watercoloring, it is for sure on watercolor paper, unless there's something wild I'm doing, and I would have explained that for sure. But yeah, this is watercolor paper. As mentioned, I heat embossed this beforehand, and die cut just as a time saver, so you didn't have to wait and watch for all of that to transpire. Also, sometimes I really like leaving little spots of white in my painting, and I think that's kind of fun. It's mostly just it happens. So there we go. And then I put some, and what I mean by it happens, like it just sort of, I just missed the spot, but then I kind of like the look. So I put the center as berry burst, but as you can see, I let it bleed, meaning I kind of tapped it outside the center area so that it would bleed, like I kind of forced it to bleed. And I just love the look of that. Isn't that pretty? Okay, so we've got our two watercolor pieces. They kind of coordinate now, so let's give them a second to dry and we'll work on the remainder of our card. Now I also have a strip of watercolor paper just because it matches, and I want to stamp my sentiment on this, and I'm thinking I might not have mounted my sentiment. Nope, I did not. So I'm going to use happy birthday, because who wouldn't need a happy birthday card to have handy, right? Ooh, that's crooked. I'm glad I looked. All right, so let's stamp that. I'm thinking Night of Navy is the perfect color since our card is Night of Navy. I'm just going to stamp that on here like so. Hopefully this is straight. Not bad. Okay, and I'm going to give that a second to dry. I actually find stamping on watercolor paper often takes a little longer than you might think. And I don't know exactly if it's just the process. I'm going to leave that out just in case. Okay, let's come back to our card. Now I want to put this piece on here kind of like this. I also want to add some ribbon to this, and I think I'm going to use my braided twine. Or braided trim. I can't remember if that's for this. Is that for this collection? I feel like it is. So this braided trim is really fun, but it's a little tricky to use. So what I have found is that if you start to separate out the hunks, there's like 4 braids that make up this braid, and then each of those braids has 3 strands in it. So if you kind of pull, you can pull out the various strands. So now I only have 2 left. And, ooh, actually I did not test this because I bet it's not long enough. So let's try that one more time. So what I want to do is tie a bow, but I can't tie a bow with this thick ribbon, you know. That's going to tie a knot that's going to leave like a inch hunk in the center. So that's no good. So what I'm going to do is using my snips, because I find this works pretty well, I'm going to kind of get things started, and then I'm going to take one of those braids. So as you can see, there's like 4 little sections, and then I'm going to take one, and you can just kind of pull one section out pretty easily. And then this one section has these 3 strands in it. So that's what we're going to use on our card. And then I'm just going to tie this kind of around here. And add this to my card like so. Okay, so look at this. We've got a beautiful little bow added, but it's not thick and lumpy and bumpy. And I kind of like that there's a little notch right there. Okay, so let's take this. I think this is about dry, pretty close. And we'll pop this up, of course. And we'll add this. If you have never watercolored a design like this, like heat embossed a floral design and then watercolored it, oh my gosh, it's just the most fun. All right, so I'm just going to place that right on top like so. And then, of course, I want to take and clear Winkostella this a bit, because that's always a good idea. So I'm just kind of brushing some of that along on here. And then, well, I'm going to finish my card, but I will spritz that later. This is the source of my, oh my gosh, you guys. I could not figure out, I bet it's from this pen. I could not figure out where this ink was coming from. It is at the bottom. Oh my goodness. I can't tell you how many pieces of cardstock I've ruined in the last couple days. And it's from the Winkostella. I was like, where is this coming from? Mystery solved. And luckily I didn't get too much on me. I have actually, that's another thing that's been going on, is I keep finding black ink on stuff. And I'm like, where is this coming from? I mean, I've like looked at all of my ink pads and now I know, because you know I spritz with Wink Estella all the time. Now I'm gonna have to dig out all the stuff in here. Urgh. All right, well, whatever. Now, at least I know the source now. Oh my gosh. It's, have you ever had that happen where you can't figure out the source and it turns out that it's like a pen that's broken someplace? Oh goodness. Well, at least that's been figured that out. Oh my gosh. Okay, Deborah said, learned this week that if you use watercolor pencils, you can use Wink of Stella to blend your colors. That is true. Okay, oh, I kind of cut that a little goofy. There we go. So I just did the end, and look at it's still wet on my paper, but that's okay. We're going to be okay with it because it's not black ink smeared all over everything. Okay, there we go. And there we go. Oh, so pretty. All right, now we want to dress this up a little bit. So first off, let's put it on our card. I'm popping it up. I don't even care how many dimensionals are popped up on this baby because she's pretty and she's worth it. Oh, I still have ink on my pinky. Thank you. I love that you guys spot that kind of stuff. I appreciate that. Let's get my wet wipe back out. This is funny. I just bought a case of wet wipes, but I have like these mostly dry wet wipes still in my current thing of wet wipes. And so I don't know about you guys, but I'm like, I have to use those before I can open up the new ones. Oh my gosh. Sometimes I wonder about myself. Like, okay, Dina, spring for like the extra couple dollars and just open them. Okay. Now, thank you, by the way, Rosie. I appreciate that. I love how you guys are always looking out for me. Now I'm going to grab my little Charming Shimmer Faceted Dots. Oh, so beautiful. And you can use any and all of these on here. I'm going to go with the blue. I haven't even used any blue yet. Like, that's wild. Let's get some blue ones on here. So I'm going to just sprinkle a few of these around. And oh my, are they ever gorgeous? Love that. Now on the inside of the card, we're going to add our other beautiful flower. And I think I'm going to pull another piece of DSP, you know, because I can. So let me quick, ooh, where's my trimmer? Well, my goodness, I don't, oh, here it is. I was like, oh my gosh, where is my trimmer? So let's just cut like a 3/4 of an inch strip. And somebody asked, this is the Charming DSP. What is it called? Charming Floral Charm DSP. It goes with this whole collection of goodies. And so we'll just put this piece on the inside. Now you could do that side, but I think this side is even prettier. And, oh, this is a little short, but that's okay. Nobody will know it's not supposed to be like that. So I think I'm going to put that over here because look at how pretty that turned out. And of course we need some Stella on here because we can. And if you can, you should, right? With Stella anyway. And I will just put some adhesive on here. Ooh, that didn't go over so great. The Stella was still wet. But no worries. No one will know because we're going to spritz this. All right. So I'm just smacking this against my my bone folder, and then the result is you get little speckles of shimmer on here, and it's just so pretty. Okay. Love how that turned out. So just a very, very gorgeous card with this beautiful bundle. And I feel strongly that we need one more dot here. And maybe two. We'll put two on. Just because we can. Because as I said, if you can, you should. I don't believe that's 100% accurate. Sometimes you shouldn't. But there we go. Okay. So pretty. Oh my gosh, I feel something weird on here. What is that? I don't know. There's our first card. Goodness gracious. All right, our second card is going to be quicker. We need, let's see, we need to do a little watercoloring. No way, right? Oh, this one. This one we're going to do right away because it's probably going to need to dry. Okay, so on here, what I wanted to do is create like a starburst. So I want to take some crushed curry, some Daffodil Delight, and maybe we'll see if we need some lemon lolly. But we're going to once again do some watercoloring. So as most of my ink pads are, they are prepped for watercolor. The inside of the lids has color in it. And this again is a piece of watercolor paper, our Fluid 100. And this really blends nicely. So I'm actually going to take a little bigger brush. These are the brushes that were part of the watercolor event. And what I want to do, and I'm actually going to just put a little X on here just so you can kind of see it. This is going to be kind of my center point, if you will. This will all make sense. We're going to do rays of sunshine. So what I want to do is kind of have like, and I need something to protect my surface here. Otherwise, I'm going to have paint everywhere. Okay, so I'm going to do like a section here. I'm going to skip some space and do another section here. So these are just like rays of the sunshine. And the reason I'm skipping space, by the way, this is going to be covered up in case that wasn't obvious. So then I can change colors. Okay, so that was my first round of yellows. And then I'm going to do my next one. So that was crushed curry. Now I'm going to do some Daffodil Delight. This is a lighter color yellow. Okay, you can see that's much lighter in comparison. And we'll just keep doing that. I might need my... Do I have a daffodil refill? Okay. So I just dabbed some dots of my refill on here. I was kind of starting to say, but never really finished my thoughts. And I'm adding a bunch of water to this to make sure that the color is definitely going to be lighter than my curry. And you can leave little lines between the colors, you know, like a little space, like there's a little space right there, if you want or not. And then I'm going to pick up my lightest color, which should be Lemon Lolly. And let's see what that looks like. Woo! That looks pretty light. So I'm just kind of going in between. And I'm actually going to put a curry in between the two of these just so that it's a little more interesting. And I think I'm going to need my Lemon Lolly refill, because otherwise we're going to be going through too much. Okay. Got a little water in here. Now, you notice I put a bunch of water in, and if you see that your pad is, the lid is kind of wet and juicy, I would say dab that out before closing it, because you don't want like these drips to come out, right? Okay, so now I've got kind of a dark little section, and I just want to make sure I've got these rays of sunshine so that you can kind of see each of them. So I'll put a dark one in between. Okay, so there we go. That looks like rays of sunshine, right? Very fun and very easy. No skill really required. Okay, so we're gonna let that sit for a minute. Now let's put the rest of the, or let's work on getting the rest of the card. Now again, if these are too juicy, like this one's too juicy, let me take one of these dry wet wipes. They're not very wet anymore. And I'm just gonna soak up that juiciness so that my ink pad doesn't leak on me later, because that's no fun. Okay, so now I can close these because I know it's not good to have ink open. Okay, now for this card, I'm going to use the Paper Tags bundle. This is such a pretty bundle, and it's got really wonderful dies that go with it. So we're going to use a couple of them. Here are the ones I'm not using, but then the ones that I'm using, I've die cut this kind of outline. And then we're going to stamp an image and die cut the other tag that layers with this on some black cardstock. Okay, so let me ink this baby up with some Versamark real good. And then we're going to heat emboss it on our black cardstock in white ink. So I'm just going to really give a good press to this. Pressing, pressing, pressing. Making sure that the ink comes off of my stamp real good. Okay, and then, ooh, that looks pretty good. Then I'm going to grab my white powder. And we're going to heat emboss, and you know, black and white with a pop of color, or yellow sun rays in this case, is like the best. Okay, so how fun is this? May your day be filled with sunshine and laughter. So awesome. Such a nice sentiment to have on a card, especially one as bright yellow and cheerful as we are. Kenzie said, I found out last night you don't leave water on your desk either. That is possibly a good little nugget of information. I have not, knock on wood, I've not ever had a major water incident. I do know that occasionally people have struggled with leaving their water out and drinking out of it, their paint water, by accident. I also know that pets, like a cat walking on your desk, can get into water. That's never a good thing either. We don't have cats. My dogs are not able to get up onto my desk ever, so that's okay. But yeah, I have, like I said, knock on wood, I've never knocked over a full thing of water before. So, phew. Now I have knocked over a Diet Coke on my desk before, but not a whole thing of water. Okay. So there we go. Now we're going to die cut this. You're not even an artist until You have drank your paint water at least once. I know, right? That's funny. I've been pretty good about not using even remotely similar cups for my paint water as anything I might drink out of, but I have been tempted before. All right, so I've got this. I'm going to run it through my machine here. Give me just a second. Okay, so there we go. And then we're going to mount that to this one, which I just got a drip of water on. Of course, of course. Why wouldn't I? Okay, so I'm going to take my little sand eraser. Oh, that's kind of shredding my paper. We're just going to go with it. Gosh. Okay, there we go. Maybe we'll get some ribbon to cover that. That is one of my favorite ways to cover issues is with ribbon or gems. We can't really put a gem right there, so ribbon it is. All right, I'm going to adhere these two layers together. These are, I just think it's so cute. I love that the hole is a heart. That's just kind of, ooh, let's put it on straight though, Dina, my gosh. I was lining up the heart and like nothing else. There we go. That looks better on there straight. Okay, let's see how dry this is. Not very. We're going to help it along. Okay. I'm just kind of heating this up real good to make sure she's nice and dry. And I believe, by the way, this piece is 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. And then I'll be able to attach it to a 4 by 5 1/4. Now you might notice that I'm heating the back side as well. Our Fluid 100 paper, the 100 means 100% cotton, which means that it absorbs water really well. And as a result, it is going to take longer to dry, and because it absorbs into the paper more, I like to heat the back to help it dry a little bit better. Okay, so we're going to add that, and I just love our rays of sunshine. We'll pop this up on here. And I think if I were to do this again, I actually think instead of heat embossing this in black, in fact, let's just take a look, if you don't mind indulging me. So I heat embossed white on black paper, but I wonder if instead I should have, let's see. Looking for a scrap that's big enough. I wonder if I should have just stamped this in black on white paper. Maybe. I feel like that might be a little more striking on my card. What do you guys think? I hate to do this, but I'm gonna peel this off. Come on. Okay, whew, came off. All right, so now instead I'm going to do a black bigger tag, which just means I'm gonna have to die cut both of these one more time. So just give me a brief moment of pause. Well, come on now. Where's my poking device? There we go. Speaking of poking devices, I think I've told you. Sorry, I'm looking for a piece of black big enough so I can die cut this as well. I think I told you that I have this day of the month or daily, sorry, like a rip-off every day friends calendar. One of my team members gave it to me for Christmas this past year, and the other day it was a picture of them using when they fashioned a poking device to check to see if Ugly Naked Guy was alive or not. Do you guys remember that episode? Those of you who watch Friends, it's my favorite show, you know. Okay, I actually think I'm gonna like this better. Tell me what you think. Oh yeah, for sure. I don't know. What do you guys think? But you know what we can also do? I'm gonna take my Daffodil Delight blend and I'm going to color the word sunshine, because I stamped this in Memento. I can color the word sunshine right there. Oh, fun. I mean, you can do more words than that if you want, but I think just highlighting the word sunshine is kind of fun on here. Okay, let's put that together. Are we liking this better? Black ink stands out better. I totally agree. I thought the white would be, but I think it's because it's too solid. So I definitely prefer this reverse of this. So here we go. Just have to use some more blends. Now I've got that one. Put those there and this here. We'll attach all of this once more. And there we go. Now I'm kicking myself because I can see a little bit of white right there, but we're going to let that go. It's okay. And I also think this is on there crooked. No, I'm going to leave it. Okay, now to really set this off, I thought it would be nice if we put just a skinny little layer of white just to break this up when we put it on our card base. Now, I have a daffodil card base, but I'm wondering if maybe crushed curry would be better. Ooh, well, maybe not. I think we're going to stick with daffodil. Crushed curry, you know, it's funny. I love watercoloring with crushed curry. It's my favorite yellow to watercolor with, but I don't actually love the watercolor crushed curry against the cardstock crushed curry. I usually pick Daffodil Delight, which isn't that kind of funny? I don't know why I prefer that, but I just do. Okay, so again, my card base is Daffodil Delight, but I used crushed curry, Daffodil Delight, and Lemon Lolly for my inks to watercolor. I did not use Darling Duckling. It is a weird color of yellow, for lack of a better description. And I wasn't sure it would really jive with all of these colors. So there you go. All right, I'm going to put this onto my card base like that. So gorgeous. Okay, now to decorate, I am going to take some Ugly Duckling ribbon. Don't you love how I say that? And remember how I was stressed out because I got that little paint mark on there? Not a problem now that I switched it. It was meant to be. that we switched the blacks and the whites on here, reversed them to make them look better. So I'm just going to put a little bow on here because who doesn't like a good bow on a card? I mean, really. Let's see. I'm going to cut it like that and cut it like that. Ooh, well, that'll work. And then I'm going to put this a little bit above just so you can kind of see the heart because it's just so cute that the heart is there, right? Now, I also have noticed that I'm going to put some Seal Plus on here so that my ribbon will stay. I find that with this in color ribbon, it doesn't always stay stuck with a glue dot on my cards. And maybe that's just because I'm in the moisture-rich Midwest right now. I don't know. But I found that Seal Plus actually holds that ribbon a bit better. Okay, now to embellish. I mean, obviously. I think I'm going to go with plain old boring rhinestones. And the reason is because I can take and put kind of these smaller ones on these little dots right there and there. And how cute is that? And then I could even put some of them right here. Like, not every one, but like 1, 2, 3. So that's kind of fun, and that just adds a little shimmer. And then I could take and put just a few more on here, like that. There we go. So fun. Now on the inside, I've got nothing. We should do something though, right? Let's see, what can we do on the inside of our card to make it fabulous? There's got to be something, right? First of all, I think, where did my stamp set go? Oh, it's just right here next to me. Ooh, I love this. So may your day be filled with sunshine and laughter. Happiness enclosed. Consider this a paper hug. I like those. So let's do that. Ooh, the paper hug. That's really sweet. I do think the sentiments in this are really lovely. Just kind of fun little things that they've put in here. Now, if you're watching this and having fun, would you give me the thumbs up with the YouTube? Whether you're watching the replay or the live right now, that helps so much. And of course, if you are not already subscribed to my channel, I would be so grateful if you joined the fun. We do have a pretty good time here at the Creativity Cave. So, ooh, I think what might be kind of fun is to take some scraps. So, oh, nope, that is Ugly Duckling. I gotta stop calling it that. Okay, I've got some scraps of a daffodil. And I think I'm going to just consider this a paper hug. Ooh. I'm going to just trim this out. That is impressive cutting by me, if I can just say. And then, ooh, maybe a lemon lolly scrap that says happiness enclosed. We'll stamp that in black on this skinny piece. Oh, it's crooked, isn't it? Just a teeny bit. My cutting, not the stamping. I think the stamping's actually not half bad. There we go. And then, you guys are going to laugh, but I'm going to take and cut, where did my dies go? I'm going to cut a little, maybe we could even use this black one, a little heart. Oh, there we go. We'll just use the black one because it's already done. So we'll just put these on the inside. And how fun is that? Scorned woman. So I'm just giggling at your name. It says you can't cut straight to save your life. I understand. I honestly generally can't either. Sometimes the stamping gods are with me when I am on a live and they allow me to do such things, but not always. I would probably just use my trimmer because you can get nice squared off edges when you are using your trimmer. Okay, so that just is kind of fun for the inside, and then we're done with this. Okay, now we've got one more card to make, and it's pretty quick and easy. We just need to choose a color for the background. So any color suggestions, just give me one color and then we'll come up with colors to go with it. It's going to be a birthday card. Spoiler alert. Melissa, okay. Melon Mambo. Thank you, Debbie. Melon Mambo it is. Okay, so Melon Mambo, and then I'm going to take some Flirty Flamingo, and then I think I'm going to add some Timid Tiger. So those are the three colors I'm going to use. Now, if you were in our watercolor week, you know these colors are called analogous colors, or they are near one another on a color wheel. So this color wheel doesn't have Timid Tiger on it, but the pinks and reds to oranges are near one another on this color wheel. They're not far away from each other, which would be like the opposite side. So that means they're going to mix really nicely. And we're going to, so I heat embossed the happy birthday. Now this is just a single stamp called Simple Birthday. And what I love about this is you could do any color combination you wanted for this, which is why I had you guys tell me what color you thought. So again, we're going to squeeze those ink pad lids and then do a little watercoloring on here. And we're just going to create kind of a fun background. So you could do, you know, if you needed a birthday card for a guy, you could choose different colors. But we've got kind of pinks to orange, which I think are going to be great. And because I heat embossed this to start with, it is going to, oh, I haven't used Timid Tiger for watercoloring too much. Because we've heat embossed this, it's going to resist that color. And now you can do just a scribble on here, or you can go all the way out to the edge like I am about to. And I know I want a little bit more color on here, so I just happen to have my Timid Tiger. Just drop just a touch in here. So I love using reinkers, refills, whatever you want to call it, because the color is, let's just say, a little bit more intense, and it makes things more vibrant, which is fun. But again, I can already see, some of the colors that mix with this. Okay, I've got my water that I'm cleaning between each of these. And I'm really trying to grab some more. Woo, Flirty Flamingo. That wouldn't have been the worst thing that happened if I dropped this. Who cares? Because it's the same colors we're using. Now, if it would have been different colors, that would have been another story. All right, and then my Melon Mambo. Now, Melon Mambo is a color that does stain a bit, so hopefully it won't stain on top of this embossing, but I think we're good. And I love the colors that form when these colors mix a little bit with one another. I think that's really fun. Okay. Sorry. Just adding a little water to this. And now I'm going to grab either a tissue or a paper towel. Got a little paper towel here so I can kind of dab off the areas that I've heat embossed because my stuff is kind of beading up on top. But there we go. And now we have a beautiful, beautiful background. But wait, there's more. You know, I'm never quite done. So one of the things I love doing, and actually this might be perfect for this, is, you know, I love to spritz stuff, right? So I'm going to just put this down to kind of protect my work surface. This is an old burp rag from when Ella and Carl were babies. And then I'm going to pick up some water and get lots of ink on here. And then I'm just going to tap and spritz this. Okay, and I can also do that with just clean water. My water's not super clean anymore, but a little bit of clean water will add kind of some fun effects to this and just create kind of a confetti-ish look. Okay, and then I'm just going to dab the areas where I had a lot of water. And then, I mean, if we spritz with water, we should probably spritz with Wink Stella too. Now, water and Wink Stella are kind of an interesting mix. So let's see here. I need something to smack my Wink Stella on. Wink Stella is kind of an alcoholish based fluid. So it sometimes reacts interestingly to this. Now, if you were doing a masculine card, I probably wouldn't do the Wink Stella on here, but look at how fun that background is. Now, if you want this to dry, because it's heat embossed, you kind of want to be, careful because you can reheat the embossing and then it can actually melt like the color that's in here into that clear embossing, and we don't really want that to happen. So we're going to be careful and help speed the process of this along. Okay. And oh my gosh, did I not post to Facebook that I was going to be live? It's been a day, you guys. Oh, so many things have happened. So you can see I'm just really going over everything quick. I'm not holding the heat in one spot at all to make sure I'm not remelting anything. Okay, I let it dry or cool for a hot second. Okay, let it cool because we don't want to melt anything again. Okay, that's not not totally dry. All right. Gosh, I thought I did share my live. My bad. I will not actually be live next week though because of my trip, but maybe depending on what we're doing, I can't remember what days we're at the track meet. But maybe I'll go live from our vacation. Okay. So I've got a Melon Mambo card base. And then I'm thinking a little timid tiger is going to look great on here. Let's see. I can't remember how big I cut this piece. 3 1/4, I bet, by 4 1/2. You guys, this is funny. I'm the only one home right now. So my dogs are literally like, it is 19 minutes past our dinner time and we're waiting. Like they're literally circling, like pacing, waiting. They have quite an internal clock when it comes to food, which I find somewhat amusing. Okay, so that looks good. Now, just to jazz this up a little, I thought we could take some of the ribbon, Timid Tiger ribbon, and I guess we could tie it around both layers. Let's do that. Okay, so I'm going to put this across here. And then this is still not 100% dry, but we're going to go with it because, well, you know. All right. So I'm putting my adhesive down. Hey, what are you into? No. No dumpster diving. That was Milo. Okay, so I have to be a little careful because, again, this is not entirely dry yet, but we're going to go with it. All right, we've got that. We're going to do our card base. Well, I have, like, get the crease going. And then I'm going to tie this ribbon all the way around. So I've got my Timid Tiger ribbon. We're going to pop this whole layer up onto our card because, I mean, everything needs to pop up. Every card needs a pop-up is what I was trying to say. There we go. Whoa. And then I'm going to tie a bow on here. And how fun. I love how these colors came together. So great job. I can't remember who picked the color. Was it Debbie? But I love how this happened. Now, if you watched my day 6 of Watercolor Week video, I think that was yesterday, we ended up, well, this is dumb. You're welcome. We ended up doing a little crayon resist activity. And ever since then, I was like, oh, I was itching to do this stamp. Now, there's also a thank you, a simple thank you, and a simple congrats, I believe. Don't we have all 3 of those? I'm pretty sure. And so I love these big words. Another set that would work really well for this is the Layered Thoughts. That is a stamp set that has a thanks, a love, a thank, or no, I'm sorry, a thinking, a love, a thank, and a happy birthday in it. And they're nice big letters. They're just kind of sketchy. I just love the font on this particular one. Now I'm going to scooch this over just a little bit so my bow looks a little nicer. Then I'm going to take my good scissors and trim those ends like so. And then I'm going to add, actually, maybe just some rhinestones again. Simple rhinestones on this fun card to just, you know, jazz it up. We'll put a couple over here and then maybe a couple up here. There we go. So just a fun little sprinkling of colors. Okay. I'm also going to do one more thing. Somebody said with you in mind, you know, that would work, but that's a lot smaller words. I mean, that would be if you wanted like a little piece. This I love because it's a much more bold word, but yeah. Okay, I am also going to do a little something on the inside. And for that, I just need a panel of basic white. And oh my gosh, I almost touched this in my black ink. Ooh, I know what we could do. So we can't really, well, actually, now I always do this. I save scraps. That one will work. I save scraps when I trim my watercolor paper. I save the scraps. Let me see. Actually, that is not watercolor paper. This is a little better. This will go this way. So what I'm going to do really quick is just color this with my whatever's left here. And I know I'm doing this on my desk, and I 100% should not. But I'm doing kind of a lighter version of this. Where's my melon? And then now we have a coordinating inside with just this little leftover piece of watercolor paper. Okay, and just like before, let's wipe that up before bad things happen. Just like before, what we can do, and I'm going to set this over here, is we can use some somewhat clean water and spritz on it. Okay, so we've got that same kind of look. And now this one we can kind of go to town on because she's dry, or there's no embossing to worry about. And look at those little water splatters on here. Isn't that a fun little background that's created? Especially because we're drying it right away, so it's holding the shape of those. If you let it dry on its own, sometimes it will blend back into the background. And again, we'll do the back side, the front side, and then we're going to wipe our table. Things are crashing. My timer is going off. All sorts of things are happening. Okay, so now we can just quick put this on the inside, and I love that it coordinates with our card so nicely. And I think this piece might be 5.5 inches long, which means it's going to go all the way out to the edge, which is actually just perfect. All right, so we'll adhere this to the inside, and man, what fun cards we did today. Sometimes you just got to watercolor. All right, so 3 very different cards, but all beautiful. So I hope you loved these projects. Thank you guys again so much for being here. If you could, well, first of all, I'll put this link on my Facebook page, but if you could give me the thumbs up, that really helps. If you're waiting for a PDF from me, hold tight. It will be there very, very shortly. Hopefully today, if not, the watercolor one might be tomorrow morning. I'm going to try and get it done today, though. Anyway, I got to take these dogs out and give them some food before they dumpster dive again. But I thank you so much for being here with me today. If you would like to purchase any of the supplies that I've used, the link to my online store is in the description of this video, along with our various events such as Watercolor Week. I would love to have you be a part of all that. So thank you again. We will see you in 2 weeks. Have a great week, friends. I will see you soon. Bye.